This morning, a quick guided tour around the backyard. Those are the grapevines. And the grapes are doing pretty good. Still pretty tiny, but they'll be growing soon. And what we have over here, let's see, from left to, well, the tiny stuff is carrots just coming up. The big plants you see here, beans. A couple of rows of pepper plants, and then some romaine lettuce in the middle. And these two rows over here are Swiss chard. Absolutely delicious. And then here's the raspberry patch. They're doing pretty well. Next to that is garlic. It looks like a lot, but it goes pretty quick. And then down in here is cicoria. It's Italian dandelions. And they're delicious. Moving on to the rest. You got some fava beans. A couple of rows of romaine lettuce all rammed together. This is where the seeds were planted and then they were transplanted. Here's a row of spinach. And then this romaine lettuce will head out, you know, very nicely. I transplanted it when they were tiny and now they're growing. Next thing, of course, is tomatoes. You gotta have tomatoes. Well, we'll go way over here first. We got some sweet peas. They're just about done. You know, they're getting pretty big. They're just about done. And then some real tasty lettuce. To the right is some escarole. The curly stuff is endive. Over here we've got some mustard greens. And next to that, some radishes. You can see them poking out. Another row of green beans. Some more tomatoes. More tomatoes here. Right here what you see is Savoy cabbage. A little bit tastier than the regular cabbage you buy at the supermarket. Here we have some rhubarb, a few more beans, and then this big collection of plants, excuse me, potatoes. There's some red potatoes and white potatoes growing under there. And they'll be ready in about a month. And of course, here at the Murtari house, we practice organic gardening. Everything goes in here. You know, there's no garbage disposal. All the leftover food and stuff goes in there, and then it ends up in the garden. And then over here, some baby onions. And let's see. And then here what we have, cucumbers, two different kinds on the left and right. And then this last plant over here is cantaloupes. And then we're growing some herbs, fell a little bit behind. Over there's basil, really fell behind on the parsley. And then you got oregano over here. And now we'll take a look at a few fruit trees. This was an apple tree I planted last year. You can see a few little fellas growing. This is an Italian plum tree. And hopefully there's a lot of plums. Another small apple tree. And then this one's a, oh man, I can't think of the name, one of the popular ones. And you can see some of the apples, they're still pretty small. And then another apple tree, these are Red Delicious. Still pretty small. And then we got a Bartlett pear tree there. This thing's got to be, I mean, it was here when I was a kid. So it's clearly about 70 years old. Usually makes a lot of pears, but I think it's getting near the end of its life. And that's the tour. And here is a view of the garden backyard from an upstairs window. And it's really not that big. You know, the things are easy to grow. The key thing you need is sunlight. You can't grow vegetables in the shade. You need a lot of sun. And here's what the other side of the house looks like. It's a rail yard. And the tracks you see are the main line that runs from New York City to Chicago. 2 tracks. Trains go by here a lot and the house shakes. It is good for keeping the property values down. But there we go. You know, the street I live on was all Italians. This is literally the south side of the railroad tracks. And, you know, my father and a lot of people swung sledgehammers on the railroad. So there you go.